Hi, I'm Fiona Harewood, author, speaker, and life coach. I trust that in spite of the circumstances that you're doing well. I stopped by this morning to talk a little about COVID-19. You see, it showed up suddenly and stripped away from many victims of abuse the safe havens their jobs provided. I wonder what it is like waking up one morning to find yourself trapped in the same space with your abuser. Wondering, when will this imprisonment end? When will this curfew be lifted? Were you ever in a situation where you found yourself at work and you're all good, you're happy, but then you realize that home time is approaching, and all of a sudden you start feeling sad? Sad because you don't want to go there. I used to be in that position. I experienced it at least 2 different times in my life. In my book, River Never Smooth: Reclaiming Power After Abuse, I recap my experience where I would be home at nights and long for the dawn of a new day. My then husband, we didn't spend much time together, but whenever he was home, for the most part, there was always a noise for something or other. Sometimes we even fought. And I recall when he wasn't there, I'm looking nervously over my shoulders, wondering, when is he going to come in? When he comes in, what kind of mood would he be in? And it was sort of amazing because when I would leave home the next morning for work, in contrast to the kind of person I was at night, I would be a totally different person. It was as if I had split personalities. I would get up early, get myself together, get my children together, and leave them at my mom. My mom and my dad would take my daughter to school. My son at that time was a baby. And I would leave for work. For the most part, I got to work first. I was the first person on the job, all because I didn't want to be home. And I recall having co-workers. We laughed and joked at lots of different things, and it was just a happy day. Every day we're just happy at work. But once that time to go home, to start preparing for home, once that time came along, it was as if a thick, dark cloak engulfed me, and I didn't want to go home. Living with an abusive partner and being unhappy at home, you literally dread having to return there. The feeling of dread can take many forms. You can get headaches. You can feel anxious, experience bouts of tiredness, and it can be many other symptoms. So, can you imagine what the consequences of the COVID-19 situation is having on victims of abuse? If you find yourself in a place where you're longing to be at work and not in your home where you belong, you may be in an abusive relationship and you need to seek help. Leaving abusive relationships is never easy, but you have to remember that abuse thrives on silence. Take one step at a time to break that silence. You can start admitting where you are in a relationship by asking yourself the hard questions. Am I in denial? Is John abusing me? Did I do something wrong that caused him to hurt me last night? And even if I did something, does that give him the right to hurt me? Why is it that she blames me for everything? Why does she call me names? After you have answered these questions truthfully, then ask yourself, what should you do about it? After you have your answer, start thinking strategically in order to rid yourself of your current situation. In an article titled "Unsafe at Home, Virus Stirs Domestic Violence Fears," R.J. Vogt reminds victims that even though businesses are closed right now due to the COVID-19 situation, there is still help for abused victims. Among other tips that she gave, she mentioned that protection orders are still being issued and the hotlines are still available. Sadly, with schools being closed, this situation is affecting even children because they are forced to spend unending hours with their abusers. This is a call for parents, friends, family members, neighbors. Listen to children. For the most part, they are not lying if they will come to you and say that an adult is touching them inappropriately or treating them unkindly. They're not lying. Take immediate action. If you have friends and loved ones whom you know are in abusive relationships, try keeping in touch. While social distancing at this time prevents in-person visits, you can use other forms of communication: email, telephone, social media. But then you still have to be cautious, because remember, an abuser, when he feels that he's being exposed or his power is being stripped away, he can become even more abusive and individuals can get hurt. You don't want that. In the book on Healthy Helpings, Dr. Megan Byrne shares some valuable insights on how to help family members who are in abusive situations. And she encourages family members to be non-judgmental when you're dealing with victims of abuse. Listen to them. You must also try to ask them questions like, is there anything I can do to help you, or in what way can I help you? Just be mindful you're not telling them what to do. Let them have their free choice. Being kind to someone, especially a victim of abuse, at a time when COVID-19 has robbed that person of their safe haven, took away their freedom, may save a life. You may be brightening up someone's day. You may bring a light to someone's eyes. And that may propel them to take another look at their relationship so that it can become healthy again. In doing so, instead of him or her dreading the thought of going home, home will become sweet once again. Go make somebody happy. Thank you for listening.